Imagine waking up one morning, and the world outside is completely white. Not just a pretty dusting of snow, but a thick, relentless blanket that has buried everything you know. The year is 1963, and Britain is about to enter the worst winter in over 200 years. It's not just a cold snap, it's a deep freeze that will last for months. And trust me, you wouldn't survive it. Let's start with the basics. Today, you probably have central heating. You push a button, and warmth fills your home. Back in 1963, that was a luxury for the very few. Most homes relied on a single coal fire. Your job every single day would be to keep that fire going. That means hauling heavy bags of coal, cleaning out the ash, and constantly tending to the flames. If you ran out of coal, you were in serious trouble, and with roads blocked by snow, getting more delivered was nearly impossible. People burned anything they could find: furniture, old books, anything to stay warm. Your house would be freezing. Ice would form on the inside of your windows. You'd wear your coat, hat, and gloves indoors, and you'd still be shivering. Now, think about food. You can't just pop to the supermarket. Why? Because the supermarket shelves are empty. The snow, which fell continuously for weeks, has brought the entire country to a standstill. Roads are impassable. Buried under drifts as high as 20 feet, trains are frozen to the tracks, lorries carrying fresh. Supplies can't get through. Milk deliveries stopped. The milkman couldn't get his float down your street, and even if he could, the milk would freeze solid in the bottle within minutes. You'd be living on whatever you had stored in your pantry: canned goods, potatoes, onions, fresh fruit, and vegetables. A distant memory. People in rural areas were completely cut off, sometimes for weeks on end. They had to rely on helicopter drops for basic supplies. Imagine the anxiety of watching your food supply dwindle, with no idea when you'll be able to get more. And what about water? You turn on your tap today and expect clean water to flow. In the winter of '63, pipes all over the country froze solid and then burst. No running water meant no drinking water, no water for cooking, and certainly no flushing the toilet. You'd have to go outside with a bucket and collect snow, then bring it inside to melt on your small fire. This was a laborious, time-consuming process just for a few liters of water. The lack of sanitation was a huge problem, leading to health risks we don't even think about today. Going to the toilet would mean using an outdoor privy in sub-zero temperatures, a truly miserable experience. Let's talk about getting around. Forget your car. It's likely buried under a mountain of snow. Even if you could dig it out, the roads are like an Arctic ice rink. There's no grit, no salt, just compacted snow and ice. Public transport has ground to a halt. Buses are stuck, and train lines are blocked. For weeks, people were essentially trapped in their own homes. If you had a medical emergency, getting help would be a nightmare. Ambulances couldn't reach you. Doctors had to travel on foot or even on skis to reach their patients. The simple act of going to work or school was impossible for most. The entire economy slowed to a crawl. The cold was on a different level. Temperatures plummeted to below -20 degrees Celsius. Rivers like the Thames froze over, something that hadn't happened for decades. People were ice skating on it. Even parts of the sea froze along the coast. The landscape was transformed into a silent, frozen world. Wildlife struggled to survive. Farmers faced disaster as their livestock froze, and they couldn't get food to their animals. The constant biting cold seeps into your bones. Without modern thermal clothing, you'd be dangerously exposed every time you stepped outside. Frostbite and hypothermia were very real dangers. Communication was another challenge. No internet, no mobile phones. Your only connection to the outside world was a landline telephone, if you were lucky enough to have one, and the radio. But phone lines were down in many areas due to the weight of the ice. You'd be isolated, Hearing news reports of the chaos, but unable to contact loved ones to know if they were safe, the psychological toll of this isolation, combined with the constant cold and uncertainty, would be immense. Days would bleed into one another, trapped inside a cold, dim house. Power cuts were frequent. The demand for electricity was huge as people tried to use electric heaters, but the power grid couldn't cope. Coal, which powered the power stations, couldn't be transported because the railways were frozen. So, just when you needed it most, the lights would go out and your electric heater would die. You'd be plunged into darkness and even deeper cold with only candles for light. Imagine the fear and helplessness of sitting in a dark, freezing house, listening to the wind howl outside. So, could you really survive? You'd be cold, hungry, isolated, and living in unsanitary conditions. Your daily life would be a relentless struggle for the most basic necessities, warmth, water, and food. We are so accustomed to our modern conveniences that it's hard to fathom this level of hardship. The Big Freeze of 1963 wasn't just an inconvenience, it was a life-threatening event that tested the resilience of an entire nation. It's a stark reminder of how fragile our comfortable modern lives really are. The people who lived through it were a different breed, forged by hardship. For us, it would be a true survival situation, and frankly, most of us just wouldn't be prepared. Thanks for watching. It's incredible to look back at moments like these in history. If you found this interesting, please give the video a like and subscribe for more stories from the past. See you next time.